What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more trance, and this time we're going to some acid trance, and some acid trance that goes way back to my earliest days, hence the Shnootz Rootz title. This is a tune that I first heard on the Sound of Acid Core Volume 2. I've talked about this compilation series before, especially the first two releases, Volume 1 and Volume 2. So many acid techno and acid trance classics I was introduced to through these volumes. I got them both in 97. The first one came out in 96, second one came out early 97. I probably got them like summer 97, because like when I was 16, that's when I was really getting into acid techno, acid trance, electronic music. So yeah, this tune goes way back for me. It is, all genres, all labels, all artists considered, one of my all-time favorite tunes. I mean, this is honestly on the very, very tip-top level. Michael Kors, I think he was just a magician. He's actually come back and made a tune recently for Noom. It was called Balandra, and there was like an old school version, which it wasn't exactly as this and other production. We're going to get to a lot of his productions from the 90s, because he was another guy like Pablo Gargano, I believe between like 95 and like 98. This guy literally put 0 production feet wrong, if you will. Just track after track after track, not only in Noom as Kors, but he made tunes on Time Unlimited under the name Albion. There are a couple records, or is it 3? I think I just have 2. Maybe I have 3, but they're amazing as well. He released one on Global Ambition under his, like, the real spelling of his surname, Kores, instead of Cores, which is how it appears on Noom. But honestly, this guy is right on the level of like Pablo Gargano and my favorite all-time, not only acid trance producers specifically, but just producers of electronic, like acid music more generally. So as you're going to see, this is Noom 18. It's called the Matabu EP. And all 3 tracks on it are brilliant, honestly. There's a Matabu Part 1, very good. There's an Ice Rain, perhaps even a little bit better. I love that tune. But Matabu Part 2 is the best. A+, 100%. And again, that's the one. I think both Matabus... no, I think it is just 2. Yeah, I think Matabu Part 2, although it might be mislabeled. I think it just says like Matabu, or maybe even Matabu Part 1, but it's actually Part 2. I'm talking about the Sound of Acid Core Volume 2 compilation. Nevertheless, I'm going to show you a little thing here. So yeah, here is this, and oh, by the way, is that a second copy of Noom 18? Why, I think it is. And oh wait, what is this? Is that a third copy? Look, I don't mean to be an indulgent shit, but sometimes the tune is so amazing to me and is so special and like just important to me that I have to get multiple copies. I think I got the first copy, physical record store, I want to say maybe around 2000. Few years later, like 04, 05, when I started using Discogs, I decided, you know what, I want to get an insurance, I want to get a second copy, so I got a second copy. And then I remember a few years after that, when I came back from my little semi-hiatus, like 09, I remember mixing one of the 2 records of this I had in a set, and there were a couple pops, and I was like, oh no, I can't stand for that, and I went and I ordered a 3rd copy. So look, I got 3 copies of this. It's just one of my all-time favorite records and tracks. There's no need to qualify it further. So big ups to Michael Kors. You are one of my producer heroes. And again, he made a tune for Noom recently that, isn't fully in this old style. It had a little bit more of like a tech trance, or kind of, so it was a little bit mellower, but it was still very dope. And again, the old school cut, I think it was called, it did sort of capture some of the magic from these Noom releases. So hopefully that's just the beginning of a renaissance or revitalization of him making tunes in this style. But without further ado, one of my favorite tunes of all time, Matabu Part 2 by Kors, 1996, Noom Records 18. And I don't know if this is my best copy of the record. I just picked one of the 3, so hopefully this is one of the better of the 3. I do hear some pops. In fact, you know what? I hear this can't be my best version of it. I apologize to give you a false start like that. Someone blow a whistle, give me a 5-yard penalty. But yeah, we are coming back with this one. This one has the nicest sleeve. That doesn't always mean it's the best copy, but sometimes, as I've mentioned, that is my own code language to myself for, hey, this one is the one that needs to be protected the best. So again, Matabu Part 2 Cores Noom 18. It's better, right? Yeah. You know, still a little surface noise, but better, definitely. Good. Now I know. Again, I was speaking to myself from the past. I mean, what more could you ask for in a set opening tune? Talk about setting the mood. Still some pops. Like wood, like telegraph sort of. Sharp little laser spurts. Wait for that kick. This tune is a journey. Buckle up. Kick is heavy. It's got power. Big ups to Noom, man. Oh, got this new, like, you know, AI, like, sci-fi movie voice. The acid's building. There's a wall of acid coming. It's an acid, like, hurricane, an acid storm. To this because again, back in the day, you know, when I was before I got turntables, so like 96 to like mid 98, most, you know, I was hearing tunes as works of art. I was just hearing them on CD compilations. For the most part, listened to them to the beginning to the end, although people who knew me back then would probably make a joke that, yeah, like, but you were already sort of becoming a DJ, because I'd play a tune for like, oh, it's this 2-minute segment that I really like, and okay, now let's listen to like 3 minutes of this other tune. So I guess I'm sort of full of shit, but there were tunes that would command my attention from beginning to end, and this is one of them. For many years now, though, when I use this tune in DJ sets, as I mentioned before, like, you're listening to another tune at the same time, you're thinking about, you know, possibilities maybe for double dropping, or, you know, maybe that's a little less common in acid trance, though it can be done, but you're also thinking about when you're going to mix out, and you're not playing the whole tune, and again, you're working, so it's so enjoyable to get to do these videos, because I'm just sort of going on a journey with the tune and sort of taking it on its own terms, and to get to do that now with one of my all-time favorite tunes that I did that with 25 or so years ago, it's amazing. Shout out to Michael Kors, shout out to Noom Records. One of my favorite sounds, one of my favorite producers. In the storm, but it's like keeps getting like fuller and richer, more acid layers to the storm. Bro, I like that kind of like wood clap. Rich acid, like, my god. But it's also like headspace acid trance, right? Like, it's dramatic, it's like, you could dance to this, but it's like, I'm thinking sci-fi movies, I'm thinking, again, acid storm, me standing on a, like, mountaintop, like, you know, looking out over civilization, like, I'm pondering that level of, like, mental scale and scope. And now, the acid, but back to that soft, like emotional, melancholic pad from the opening. And now, go ahead and make a Queen We Will Rock You joke if you want, but it ends up working with the other Sonics here in a way that, it hits different, but I get it. That like buzzing kind of synth. Acid, the wall of acid, the storm building up again. And get ready for a very interesting break. It builds, but it's not like a full snare, it just gets louder, and then it kind of takes a breath. It's sort of like the acid really sort of keys up, and then it just gallops, like syncopated gallops back into the tune. I guess it does have that sort of stagnated snare build, and then again, sometimes like a tune I'll call acid trance, you're like, well, it's hard trance. Yeah, there's acid there, but like, this is acid trance. This is like, it's the main attraction. It is the feature. There's atmosphere, there's melody, there's melancholy, but like, you're here for the acid. We're here for the acid. Another one of those sort of stagnated, halting snare rolls. Then it cleans up, like cools down a little bit. Now these like bongo style percussion elements. One of those like sci-fi vocals, but it's like the buzzing synthesizer. Is moody, but that acid transmission signal is still there. I like those hats coming in there, by the way. And now they're like fuller, like high-end percussion. Bringing in again, I'll say the Queen We Will Rock You beat, like amid all this, and that melancholic pad now kind of soaring higher. Work of art, acid art. It ain't one of my favorite tunes for nothing. Another little quick, like half pause, come back in, but a little cleaned up, a little tidier. Here's my question: how is this a B1? Like, Matabu Part 1 is on the other side. I'm wondering, like, the cores or the people at Noom, did they really think that this wasn't the A1 tune of the record? Again, all three are great. The other two I'll give 95% to. That's a solid A. But this is 100% like top of the class. Okay, so we had, I don't know if it was like a Hindu chant or something. That was glorious. And then to end with one last little drop of that, sort of breakbeat, hip-hop almost percussive layer. That was brilliant. Honestly, it is, again, one of my all-time favorite tunes. I'll just keep repeating that. I think Cores, again, during like 95 to 98 or so, could not do anything wrong. Every record he released during that period, whether again on Noom or whether as Albion on Time Unlimited or in a couple other places. He did tunes like as Space Surfer or like with Space Surfer. I think there like he had a couple other like people he would produce tracks with. Sometimes like they'd be credited on a tune that's still like written as cores, but again, I think there were tunes they did as Space Surfer. Mirage was another one. They like, what was the? Oh, there's a Thor and a Zeus release. My God, that's incredible. Both sides. It's Space Surfer. There's one that they did called Kill. I got to get to all these tunes again. Cores during this phase, just brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Starting like 99, 2000, he started to move a little bit in a different direction with his productions. Not unlike Pablo Gargano, another person I mentioned and compared him to. Nothing wrong with that, but again, for me, his real sweet spot is like 95 to 98 or so. But yeah, all his releases on Noom, even the like later ones which aren't like quite on the same level, again like 99, 2000, I think he still had a couple, but this one is my all-time favorite. I mean, even among his amazing body of work during what I consider his like golden phase, this I think is the absolute pick of the litter. So I had to do this one first, and again, I got 3 copies of it. I think it's an indication of how much I love the tune. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you're a fan of Cores as well, or Noom, the other artists that they had on Noom. Nexus 6, also known as Mandala. They had a number of amazing acid trance, like just, legends on the label. So we're going to do more Noom records for sure. There's one I want to do. It's an Oliver Lieb tune under the name Super Spy called Supernatural. That's incredible. So again, let me know if you like this kind of acid trance. Let me let me know if you're a big fan of tunes from that era as well. I need a glass of water, clearly. Nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you can breathe better than I can breathe. Let me know if you have any requests or recommendations. Always looking for feedback. Other than that, have a good day, have a good night. I will see you next time, hopefully. If I don't die first.